Hey friends, this is Susan Hamilton. You are watching OBBM Live Special DFW Local Business Interviews, where we're talking with people that are really making a difference, having to be innovative and work differently during the shelter-in-place orders specifically, because we are all having to change how we do things, and we want to make sure we're giving you the stuff that's really mattering today, and as well as some encouragement, because business is going to happen again when this is all over, and we want to make sure we're hitting the ground running and taking care of people in the process. So I have got the fabulous Maria Scarmardo with
Hello.
with technology solutions through Praxis Data Security. And this is something that is very huge. You met Maria Scarmardo through BizPoints TV with Larry Courtcamp earlier, I believe last November or December. And so you've already heard what she was doing and what her expertise in this is in this space. And now she has started her own company and taken this up another notch. And so we're excited to be sharing her with Praxis and update all the branding that we have on file for her, so it reflects her new location. Maria, thank you for joining me today.
No, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited about talking to everybody about this. There's a lot of things that are going on and that people are not taking into account, and super easy things as usual, that little things here and there that can really help when you're having all of this. And we can even talk a little bit about my own very fun experiences at my stay-at-home working.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that is what I want to know. I want you to share some of the challenges that you're seeing right now and how you're rising to them to meet the marketplace in a new way.
So right now, like I get on my soapbox about privacy all the time, and how it's easy to have these best practices. It's not brain surgery. It's not hard. It's not difficult. Best practices. So I want to start with maybe a funny story. So which is funny, sad, terrible, wrong, all at the same time. So there's video going around of people working at home and some of the things that are happening, like getting captured, like kids coming in, or even some embarrassing moments that invade even at home privacy, right? And people maliciously putting it out on the internet and making it viral, which is now becoming an HR issue, and it's becoming issues not just for privacy as far as the business, but just HR, and it's I see it becoming such a huge problem. So again, all that, as I've always said, can be solved with best practices, policies, like sitting down and going through really quick some of the quick policies that you can put in and send out via email to your employees and saying, like, hey guys, make sure this, make sure that, just have some, for whatever that business is, those policies that are in place, and have them follow those. Other problems as far as privacy goes, everybody going to home, having their VPNs crazy. Not everybody needs to be on a VPN. And that's not terrible for a security person to say, because not everything has to be on such lockdown, right? There are things that just don't need to crowd your VPN, and some of the businesses themselves can put people on like web pages instead of having them use a VPN for security. Like set up a quick web page for them to work out of as a portal instead. So those are some really quick things that are not breaking the bank, and can be put in place pretty fast.
Oh, I love that. I love that, because we're busy building our back end right now, and we can put that in place. And one of the things I've been pointing out is this: if this can happen once, it can happen again. And so watching all those things and being prepared for the next steps will be great. As you know, in my home, we have 3 generations here, and it's time for the grands to have dinner, and we've got to, so you're going to hear them, and that is what life is today. And
that is huge. And
yeah.
Also, everybody's starting to get used to this new normal. I'm getting used to my new normal. I have my cup of peace. I drink everything out of. Right now I'm drinking Topo Chico out of it, so because I already had my coffee. But yeah, there's just I'm as the thing right now is that as this continues,
Yes.
more things pop up that I always call it the Wild Wild West, the frontier of whatever this is. This is the frontier of it. So
Yes.
we don't have all the solutions right now, but as they pop up, they're noted. Yes, that's now an issue. We have to deal with that. And again, making that, let's not let that happen again, or try to have somebody on your team that's going to look a little bit forward about all the problems that can happen. And that's a business continuity thing. And business continuity is a problem in enterprise just as much as it is in a small business,
Sure,
but
sure.
it's a different scale. So having somebody in your team to look at the business continuity issues a little bit, in the in the future, then they can help you put in the right policies for that, and put in the right tools, and put in the right endpoint security. Like I said, endpoint security super cheap for small to medium sized business now, and you can get something like that at a very low cost for small to medium sized businesses.
Yeah, I love that. And bandwidth solutions, I think, are going to be a problem. And it'll be interesting to see how 5G makes a difference because, of course, it's not in every community. So it really wouldn't matter if you have all of those things and your community doesn't have that access. And I'm not sure. There's all kinds of health implications for that as well.
Right.
That
Yes, there are. I've seen a lot of those problems. But what I saw right now, at least in my neighborhood, I was having problems with my Wi-Fi,
Mhm.
which is really fun on video conferences when everything freezes and
Oh,
nothing really.
don't you know? Don't you know? Yes.
And we can't live stream things because everything's crazy. I've seen that a lot of the companies are starting to put in fiber, like they're sending out teams to put in fiber to start getting into the homes because we're having to go back to fiber because that's what we need.
You've got when we're not used to having everybody working for an extended period of time. I laugh because it's like my husband has set up NASA in our bedroom to accommodate how we're doing business because he runs teams and he does a lot of management. And so all the bandwidth that it takes to have those conversations and have that kind of software going on all the time. And then myself down here, and then if the kids want to plug into something. And they, and trust me, when you're working from home, they need to plug into something for a little while, for some peace, because they're
Well,
interactive.
I have my kids on online school, so that was a whole
Right.
new normal for us, which is again between having and having the world come into your home is a whole
Right.
different thing, and not everybody's set up for it. But yeah, my kids being on online school and getting used to that, and they're on actually running their entire school on Zoom at the regular bell schedule. So that's been really interesting.
Yeah. So that at that age, my granddaughter is only in kindergarten, and they're just now starting to make the connections, and they're having some trouble with those connectivities, and so we'll see how that goes. I know that they had already taken it in Dallas County. Are you in Dallas County?
Yes, I'm in Dallas County.
Yeah, they had for here in Richardson, they had said that they were out of school indefinitely. So we'll see how all those things come into play and how they work together again. So tell me something. I was talking with Larry earlier in an earlier interview, and we were mentioning he was talking about the things that you can do to isolate the different areas of your internet connectivity so that you can be better prepared to handle some of the load. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering, as we've been working together, that is something that would be more under what an IT management would do, and
Oh,
not what you're doing. Or is that also something that you do, or you manage the people that do that? How does that come together?
so I'm not a managed service provider, so that
Okay,
is not what I do. I work
excellent.
very well with managed service providers because I help. So I stay in my lane. I manage risk and privacy and compliance. That portion of it,
Yes,
and I create a framework and visibility into their security posture. And then what a managed service providers can really place things in the right place for a customer, whatever that is. So if it is firewalls, I don't manage them. I just know that, I know that that they should have one depending on the business. Not and then the managed service provider manages them and oversees them. I create the backbone, the framework,
excellent.
and that's how I work well with managed. But I do not fire. So I don't do the firewalls. I won't put in the networks. That's a managed service provider, and that's I'm good at one thing, and I like to be good at that one thing and be an expert in my role.
I'm excited about that too, and I really thank you because I wanted to clarify that and just really make a strong differentiation between what you're doing and when people are out networking and they're meeting people that are managed service providers and they're saying that they've got all these different programs that they can do and save you money here and there. That's one thing, and it's important, right? And a lot of them can move a lot faster than some of the bigger companies, so there's a lot of value to that. But it's important. What I'm really enjoying about our relationship and getting to know you better as we put your things together, when you're talking about the incident response plans, when we're talking about things that we're not really considering, this is the time to be thinking about
Oh,
what would
absolutely.
you do.
Right
And
now, everybody's vulnerable. Everybody's
right,
vulnerable. And the thing with an incident response plan, and that's exactly how I would clarify it. So when something happens, when there's an incident, it's like who notifies who does what, who's in charge of looking at this. And so instead of like a bomb throws and everybody goes crazy and it's like who does what and when and where,
right,
it's this has happened, and you pick up the playbook and you go, you call these people, you have to manage this, you call, you have to notify all of our clients, and how did the process of that, because like especially how everything has gone, even with this virus, panic ensues when there's no
right,
plan.
right,
And
right.
so it's exactly trying to say, if something happens, when it will happen, you have a playbook of how to manage that crisis and have that beforehand. So that's what the incident response plan is really about.
I think that's huge, and the business continuity. So
Oh,
those types of things that you're dealing with right now, friends. I just want to encourage you in these last few moments that we have to talk with Maria, to really think about connecting with her and asking her some questions, because what she's doing is very different than what you might be considering when you're thinking IT and technology. That what she's doing is providing something that's particular for this time of life. Right now, we're subject to regulation that's very different than we've ever had before, and it moves very quickly. And for the local family business market that OBBM hits, this is a group that has struggled to really keep up with technology and marketing in many ways. And so it's very important to know what to do. Those incidents response plans that you probably do not have in place, I would just wager to bet, are so important, because as she's mentioning, when something happens and it blows up, who's going to do what? That's important to know, and to start realizing that she will work with you. Very few people who understand this space are willing to work with the local family business,
oh,
the local
absolutely.
business. And her company is set up to come in and help you get from where you are to where you need to be, and then monitor that from a distance as a risk officer.
Yes.
So how do they reach you, Maria? What's the best way to have them come out to you
Um,
and talk
the
to you
best way
about
to connect with me is obviously with a phone call. I pick up my phone just fine, or leave a message. You can go to my website or email me. So either one would work.
Okay, so we're going to have all that information for you. This is Praxis Data Security with Maria Scarmardo, and I'm excited to share that. And I'll go ahead and share that phone number then as we share this video and let people know. Friends, there are going to be times coming up that through this particular period, yes, before it's over, that we're all going to have to know a better strategy for how to go through this, and so pay attention to that. But if something happens and you're not ready, you're still responsible for that,
It's
and
still
pay
financially
attention.
responsible. And
Yeah.
so that would even mitigate costs, just having that plan, and
Yes.
it mitigates so much cost. When something happens, you nip it in the bud when you have a plan, instead
I'm
of just,
telling you, you do not want to deal with this yourself. You want to have somebody else dealing with this and managing and having the oversight in that to give you guidance to it, because you don't have enough your own bandwidth to manage this. I promise you. You may want to, you may enjoy it, but doing that and running a business is not the most effective use of your time. Put the specialists where they belong, and you will have a successful business. Until next time, this is Susan Hamilton talking with Maria Scarmardo and Praxis Data Security, and we'll be posting this OBBM Live special DFW local business.